Driven by that insatiable curiosity for high strangeness, our journey has led us here. Now, we're about to embark to discover and uncover the truth of the enigma known as the Fresno Nightcrawler. Now join us as we embark on what could be a thrilling, science-based adventure with a low-budget mind, as we embark on the discovery and the truth of this alleged cryptid creature. So presently on social media and the video short platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Reels and so on, it appears that, well, Nightcrawler fever has gripped them. People are passing comment. People are wondering just what on earth is going on with these videos. There appears to be something of copying of trends. People are wondering what's going on and sharing their thoughts about them. So I wanted to delve into those details to find out where those original videos come from, who sourced them, other sightings and more, so we're all brought up to speed to the same level. All the videos that exist online can be sourced back to the original footage and an event where they were first aired. And since then, they've been turned around, flipped upside down, zoomed in, recoloured, all those kind of things. And just what is it with that weird kind of upward-looking angle on a few of them? But actually, we know those details. So let's get into it. Now, those who came to observe the first few videos actually didn't call it the Fresno Nightcrawler. In fact, it went by a number of different monikers. The ones that kind of stood out at the time were Mantis, the White Walker, the Walking Clothes Peg, the one of my favourites, the Walking Maths Compass. But one name did stick, and that was the Nightcrawler. It's odd because it doesn't ever appear to be crawling. But to weave this story together, we have to go back to the November of 2007. We to understand Dos Validos, Victor Camacho, and Jose. So Victor Camacho is the face and voice indeed of the UFO community in the Spanish-speaking Latin American community, with his outlet Dos Validos, and indeed is still present in the field today. So Victor Camacho, he took the stand at the MUFON 2008 UFO Symposium, and there was many notable figures, a very collection of notable characters from the field of ufology. George Knapp was there, Com Hellier, Chuck Modlin, Dr. Richard Lear, Dr. Richard Haynes, and Coast to Coast George Norrie was there. So this is not a small gathering by any means. Now, there's this video here. This video is a mini-doc posted by Joe Capps, UFO Media Matters 2009. It includes footage taken at this symposium, and indeed of Victor Camacho telling us in 2007 how Univision 2 Fresno had contacted him to say, hey, we've got this guy who's come to us, and he's submitted 2 videos to us. He appears to be really scared, and let's watch this.
In early November, I received a call from Univision. The Univision is the biggest Hispanic network here in the U.S., and they told me, we just received a video from somebody that's really scared. This person recorded this video from his surveillance camera in the house. And we need you advice about the video. We want to know what you think about it. So we went to Fresno to see and watch this video. And I just talked to the reporter, and she wanted me to say that they were UFO, extraterrestrials.
So Victor, smartly, is like, I cannot give a definitive answer to what these are without details or information. I'm not going to say they're extraterrestrial by any means, but how about we give the footage owner a call and I'll speak to him. Invite him down to the station and we'll have a chat.
And I say, well, I can't say anything because I need to talk to the person who took the video. I can't make my mind, I need to have more facts about what's happening. The chance to talk to him. He was really nervous. He was scared. He didn't want to, his face were recorded in the video. And said, well, somebody tried to steal something from the front yard because it happened before. That's why they put the cameras. He looked to the monitor and he said those things. Just watch. The camera, okay, this is the front yard of this house. And then start walking again. You see the movement of this being. This is not the video, okay? Yeah, because some people say, what happened there? But the more amazing thing is that second beam. This is the second. And you can see the big difference from the first one.
Important factor to understand here is that with this Nightcrawler footage that has been shown around the internet, all the versions that exist online, they are a recording of Victor's hand cam recording the screens at the Univision 21 studio, which is the reason why it's all blacked out and it's dark and there's a slight blue haze to all these different versions, because like I said, he's recording from his hand cam, you know, which again could be a mini tape or mini DV tape, and that's recording a blue hued broadcast screen that may well just be a VHS recording of the video footage at Jose's house. So again, you think about just the megapixels in there, think about the, I don't want to go into technical wording, but we have to keep in mind. So it's 2007, the best in class kind of security systems that are generally available at the time. There's the Archanaut Vision, there's a Samsung, there's a Sony, there's a high-end Axis camera for all kind of businesses and commercial use. They generally are around 1.3 megapixels, which is 1280 by 1024. So, and this is the kind of the standard high level of CCTV. It's quite likely as he's a home consumer version. This might have just been bought off the shelf at Target, it might have been bought off the shelf at like Walmart and so on. So this might well just be a VGA level. This might be just 640 by 480. But even the version I've been able to find online, none exceed 240p, which is the reason it's so low. It's so grainy. The quality is a derivative of a derivative of a derivative, if you get where I'm going with this. So, again, just to recap that, so we have DV footage of a broadcast camera showing it at the studio, and that's the best we've got. That's the best version online. And it appears that the original two VHS tapes that Jose have recorded had not surfaced. I've not been able to source them online ever since. They have been widely wanting to be tracked down by many internet sleuths along the years, but I don't believe, to my knowledge, that they have surfaced. So Victor Camacho on Desvelados had actually covered the story of the Fresno Nightcrawler, the Mantis, at that time, on his radio show a number of times before the MUFON UFO Symposium in 2008. So let's just briefly talk about that one more time, because we know about the guests that are there, and you can bet that that was the wow moment. That was the big discussion and the takeaway from that particular event. So all those outlets, all those speakers, and all the influence that they have made this story go viral and blow up as it did. But there is another piece of footage that comes from that event, which is perhaps the most viral version of the Nightcrawler video. So at that event was a US Air Force veteran. He has a YouTube channel, goes by the name of Rogue Alien, and it is often his piece of footage that is the most commonly shared version of the Nightcrawler. And so what it is, he's in the crowd, he's got his hand cam, and he's looking up at the presentation being shown, which is the reason why a lot of the videos have that weird distorted view, and the clock at a weird kind of angle, because they're using Rogue Alien's video footage of the Nightcrawler, of the documentary that's being shown at the event, if that makes sense. So indeed, this thread here is from AboveTopSecret.com, posted by Johnny Anonymous, and his synopsis of the event. Of course, he was there, and indeed he was able to discuss his views on the event, as well as many other discussion threads that popped up around the same time. So the Mantis footage was indeed the topic that had everyone talking. It was the wow, it was the gasp moment. So generating much of the discussion on the forums at the time, news groups, Usenet, and so on. So Above Top Secret, what is this? Well, it's a skeptically hive-minded news website of UFOs, conspiracies, technologies. It's a discussion forum, but again, it generally leans quite skeptical. So it was here many years ago, footage and dissemination first took hold of what would become the Fresno Nightcrawler, so many moons ago.
Good. Yeah. You guys get along all right? Well, don't work too hard.
So as we've seen the initial videos by Jose and Victor Camacho, in 2008-2009 there was another piece of footage that I've actually been unsuccessful in tracking down. And I can remember this piece of footage as it appeared to show two characters walking side by side. It was a garden, it appeared to be much smaller, and eerily also appear to be shot on CCTV. So what happened from this point onwards is that the Nightcrawlers have now, their folklore has expanded. They now have a family. There's now a bigger one and a smaller one. They say that the internet doesn't forget. I have tried really hard to find that piece of footage, and I so far have been unsuccessful. From 2011, there's another piece of footage that shows a white walker strutting past a gap in the tree line. This footage grabbed the viral flow of the internet in 2011 and has continued to find itself in the montages ever since. This is from Yosemite National Park, or rather a residence that is within the park itself in Yosemite. And it says that it's a retired couple, and they had pointed their camera to the back of their house because they were tired of burglaries, or there was warnings of burglaries in the area. So they just, of course, wanted to disturb and to capture anybody that was coming in. But what they captured, indeed, was these figures instead. They called the YouTuber guy up, who appears to be a family friend or someone they knew, because they knew he was interested in the paranormal. And, well, they gave me this digital copy. And I can't figure out what the crap they are, it says here. And they remind me of the Fresno stick-like creatures, as they appear to transfer their weight. And there are two here. Is one a baby? So what we have here is that family dynamic again, where we have an original creature, we now have a duplicate, that's a much smaller one. The story and the folklore is now becoming enriched. A second Fresno Nightcrawler is now part of the family. The folklore is growing. Now there's been a couple of other videos that have popped up over time. Apparently there was one from Montana, there was one from Poland. So in 2020 I was asked by ASAT's media team whether I'd like to participate as a guest with a Japanese television company who were out in Los Angeles, who indeed were out there covering a story of another new Nightcrawler footage that has emerged. So indeed we have this ebb and flow of popularity, of discussion into the public consciousness of these Nightcrawlers, as a new video had emerged and is now gripped the public imagination. So here, let's have a quick watch. So was that really a pair of trousers running up the street? Let's just watch that one more time. A pair of trousers running up the street? So this was a little bit different, of course, than the usual Mantis. Fox 10 Phoenix had a report of a dashcam footage. A trucker showed some, what they said was chilling footage of what appears to be something at the side of the road on SR 87 between Phoenix and Payson. Back on March 11th of that year. He says no other cars were on the highway, and it's a major stretch of desolate desert sands. And of course, we can't prove what this is, we weren't there, but it certainly is a conversation starter. But let's just listen to what he says.
A team of two truck drivers working in the same 18-wheeler came across an unusual sighting Saturday morning.
I mean, she's seen it too, so we both did see it. It's not like we're both losing it.
It took William Church, who was behind the wheel, by surprise.
I actually twitched the wheel to miss whoever it was.
Just standing in the road as I passed by, looks like you can see the lines through the legs making this figure. So here we are, we've returned to the present day. Now what we have here, I believe we have a timeline. We know where they began, and we know where we are now. We kind of know the broad scope of the majority of the reports, and we know the key points that make it important. But what we have here is we're watching live folklore. We're watching it morph, we're watching it change with each version of a retelling. We're watching this character evolve and change. You know, it was just a mantis, it was some kind of character, could have been an alien kind of a walking tent peg kind of creature. The walking maths compass, as it was also once said. But now in the online chatter and the discussion, it's being dubbed the White Walker. So what we have here, we have pop culture inserting a reference on top of it, of course, taken from Game of Thrones' White Walkers. So we are watching a retelling and adding more to it. You know, it has a family. What's it made of? Is it made of fur? Is it some kind of suit? Is it some kind of fabric? We are watching this change to its various guises. That is really interesting. We can perhaps chart this going forward, and this video could be, in fact, be a point of reference in the future for any investigators out there to want to know about the history of the Fresno Nightcrawler, and I hope that's what I've been trying to put across here. But Nightcrawlers, I think I know the truth. You see, here's the thing when it comes to the Fresno Nightcrawler, whatever you want to call it. It's now found itself in popular culture, as we've mentioned. That sits therefore with the Tasmanian wolf, with Bigfoot, with the likes of the Almasty and so on, with the Loch Ness monster, with Champ, and much like Bigfoot there and Nessie. So what does pop culture do? It generates lines of merchandise. It generates cryptid tours, cryptid tourism. So I don't want to say that's a bad thing, but I think it's time we have a bit of a reality check, because I want to slay the Fresno Nightcrawler, because I believe I know how it was done. So what did I do? I built a Nightcrawler and I took it out for a spin. So let's have a look at how it works. So in order to demonstrate how I believe this is done, I needed to find the right pair of trousers, right? Pants, as the Americans would call it. So I went through my drawers, I went through my cupboards, trying to find something of the right kind of fabric, the right kind of motion, and that moves in the air, like those videos do. And I believe I found them. However, they are blue. They look like genie pants, but they do work. So I was trying to find a way to animate them. How am I going to make this move? How am I going to make my Nottingham Nightcrawler animate? So I decided what I needed to do was find some way of attaching a kind of a rope, a kind of washing line through the fabric at the top. I don't want to ruin them, of course. They're a pair of trousers. Admittedly, they're not mine. But so I used the genius. I used a coat hanger across the top. This enables a very perfect solution, because the waistband is now kept wide, and I was able to thread just the cable underneath each of the hooks inside, and then I was able to animate it. And it was so well animated that this is exactly it. In my mind, this is exactly how this was done. So, but what I decided I needed to do, in order to create the kind of joints around the knees that appears to be present in a few of the videos, I needed to find a way to put some kind of a weight in there. Now, on the above top secret blogs and the posts that were around the time from 2008, they talked about perhaps there might be bats in the foot, kind of the baseball bats, the small ones, in there. I don't think it was that heavy, because the way they needed to make it move. But so what I actually did, I went to my kitchen and I used a piece of kitchen roll, the kind of inner tube from the inside there, and I with a couple of hair ties at the top. At the bottom, I used a couple of pegs to pin it to it. It appears to have the same kind of joint motion as featured in those videos, as it swings its leg forward and left and right. This appears to match up perfectly. So I guess there's only one thing to do. Let's get out and test it in the wild. Pushes itself into Fortean folklore and some kind of new cryptid, the walking tent peg. So we're going to head out to a local field. It's midnight. Hopefully we're not going to attract too much attention. We're on my high-vis, just to look official, just in case anyone just come wandering over. And we're going to set up our walking experiment. We've tried this at the home, we've tried this in the house, and now it is time to try it out for real in the wild, to see if it really does look like the Fresno Nightcrawler. Could this be how it was done? So we're in a location now where we're intending to film, and already we've got some interesting looks. The plan is to use this goalpost here to tie our clothesline around and have it run out to the right here, or I literally will shimmy it left and right, and should be able to create and recreate the effect of the walker walking.
That works better than I thought it would.
Probably focus on this one. Right, so as it comes out here. So this is how we believe it's been. Walking trousers of doom. I've actually lost the rope. Let's just come over here, slightly out of the workshop. Now, of course, this being shot at night, and the shrouds have been white. I'll shoot during the day. Yeah, so effectively they're weighted down with pegs, and basically it's a cardboard tube with a fasten at the top. Just kind of give it that weight and that kind of knee joint effectively as it makes its stride. That's the same, of course, both legs. Swing along the grass. It has that weird disjointed angle. This looks suspiciously to the Fresno Nightcrawler. There's this puppy landing on my leg, biting into me. The eye. Hit the leg's fine, but not quite get that kids on it. Far away it's possible, so if I'm all the way over here, if I'm slightly lower down, you can get quite a fast, easy walking motion. I'm striding along the grass. All I'm doing is literally pulling left and right as it kind of weirdly moves along the ground. And this is how this walker, I believe, was animated. Now let's take these cables from either side, have our mannequin walk this way. You can get a full walk just by going left and right, left and right, left and right.